What's up, guys? Feed's back with another video. Just talking quickly. This is going to be a quick one, and it's one that a lot of people don't actually know about, or I guess don't really pay attention to too much. And it's really easy to overlook because I'm not sure there was an actual guide that goes into too much depth about the elemental resonance. But elemental resonance is effectively just how you stack your elemental characters and kind of the benefits that you get from them. This plays a huge role in anything that you do, from the Abyss Tower to doing adventures, to doing challenges, timed events. Um, there's some that are better than others at the moment, and given the availability of elements that you have currently, some are going to be easier to get than others when it comes to it. The biggest ones that are really convenient, that I think do a ton, is Fervent Flames. That's going to be one where you stack 2 fire people, and it gives you reduces the effect by cryo by 40% less, and increases attack by 25%, and that's just attack off of your base damage, which is huge. So if you have attack base damage, if you have someone who's using Amunis or anything like that, this is going to be a massive increase in damage for them if you're going to run with it. So if you have like a D-Luke or an Amber, or a Clean and Amber, or a Bennett and Amber, you can run them in there with it, and all 4 of your characters will get the damage. So if you run it with a Razor, for instance, and run him as a pure damage or pure attack character, you get a ton of advantage that comes with it. If you're to stack 2 water characters, Soothing Water, affected by Pyro, 40% less time, increases incoming healing by 30%. This is actually really huge if you're doing a fight you're having an issue surviving in that isn't necessarily timed, or if you're having an issue surviving in a fight where it is timed but you're not having issues with the time. You can actually stock people like Child and Barbara, for instance. With a pretty good opportunity to make sure that you have that additional healing coming through, especially with Heart Barber being a strong healing character when it comes to us. Impetuous Winds is another really good one. Impetuous Winds is basically 2 wind characters. So if you have the main character with wind and, say, Jean, for instance, or Venti, you get increased movement speed and 10% shortens skill CD by 5%. This is really convenient for exploring, allows you to go a lot of different places, reduce the amount of overall consumption of your stamina as well by 15%, which makes it really good for exploring and traveling around. If you happen to have 2 wind characters, I would highly recommend that if you're going to explore and go for the waypoints first, that's what I did. Use 2 wind characters so you can go after all the waypoints, and then go back and you can start exploring certain areas to be a little bit more in-depth and catch on to them. But for the degree of speed and exploration, 2 wind is going to be your most optimal way in doing stuff like that. And then, of course, high voltage. Affected Hydro, 40% less time. Superconduct, Overloaded, and Electrocharged have 100% chance to generate an Electro Elemental Particle. Just simply what that means is that if you combo your Electric guy with anyone in the group, you're going to effectively be able to spam their ultimates a lot faster. So this is great for Fischl, great for um, Razor, and instances like that, and any other character that you get that's available as well. One of your starting characters that you get is Electro. She's not typically as preferred, but if you did give that option, as long as you have 2 high voltage, is accessible and allows you to do a ton of extra damage as far as using your ultimates go. So this can be really convenient in kind of a group scene fight, or where you need that kind of extra oomph coming from it. If you run 2 ice characters, you can get Shattering Ice. This is Chi-Chi and Chong-Yun, for instance. You can get the effect Electro by 40% less time, crit rate against enemies that are frozen or affected by cryo by 15%. This is actually pretty huge. If you were to run, say, a crit damage build, and you wanted to run a very specific amount of crit, you can actually maximize it with 2 ice characters, which gives you a lot of opportunity to just do a ton of damage. Guarantees those crits every time, which is really big against bosses. It's very huge against kind of the high armor, high HP mobs too when you're destroying them. And then, of course, if you're running it where you proc up at crits, you're in a little better spot overall when it comes to it. And then, of course, last but not least, Enduring Rock increases resistance to interruption. When protected by a shield, increases attack damage by 15%. This is actually really huge because if you run like a Noelle with this, with a Ningguang, you can actually do quite a bit of damage. Noelle is considered kind of a lower tier character just because of her toolkit, but using the shield, especially with, say, this week's current abyss or this season's current abyss, you get additional damage from shield users, which puts you in a really optimal spot. You can actually solo 9-1 with Noelle on with the right build that comes to it. So obviously take a little bit of investment, but gives you some ample opportunity. And then, of course, the additional damage that you get from the shield just makes it really strong when it comes to it. So hopefully that was informative. I didn't know this for a good while, and then I happened upon it and started looking more into it and was kind of experimenting with builds and stuff. And elemental resonance is probably one of the coolest kind of, not necessarily direct aspects that they have, but gives you a lot of way to kind of like secondarily adjust some of your stuff. You can also adjust for resistances and things like that with this, as well as reduce the incoming damage. So if you end up fighting Child or someone like that where the Hydra damage might be too much, you can kind of offset by stacking certain elements when it comes to it. So that's it for today though, guys. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button below. If you like enough to follow, go ahead and hit the subscribe button up top. Until then, I'll see you next time.
Run! It's gonna be a left click. It's gonna be a left click. Yeah!